Hello and a very good evening, good morning to all of you. So in today's session we are going to have a discussion on subject verb agreement. Let's first understand what is subject verb and agreement. So whenever we talk about a subject, so basically in a sentence subject is always the doer of the action. What is the subject? Doer of the action. And what is this action? This action is as discussed in verb chapter, right? Verb lesson we have already discussed that how verb is uh, the kinds and types of verb and how verb works and etc. And what are the forms of verb. So action and doing words are always action or doing words are always defined as verb. So verb is action or doing words, and how they agree to each other, or what is the concord between them, how harmonious they are, that which can make a sentence correct. So the appropriation of the sentence always depends on the agreement of the subject and verb. So agreement is basically a state of agreeing with someone or something. So let's move to the the actually uh, proper definition of it and see what how do we define it. So basically subject verb agreement simply means that the subject and verb must agree in number. So here number basically means noun number. Number basically means noun number, which can either be singular or plural, right? For example, if the subject is, as discussed before, if the subject is singular, the verb will also be singular. Studies here is a singular. If the subject is plural, the verb will be plural. Singular subject will take singular verb, plural subject will take plural verb, and there are exceptions. Of course, there will always be exceptions. We will definitely discuss those exceptions as well. Okay, so moving on. So what are those important exceptions? So as I was talking about exceptions, let's see what exceptions are those. So agreement only implies the verb when the verb is in present time, right? Agreement only applies when the verb is in present tense. In past tense there is no overt agreement between the subject and the verb. This is one very important message, idea, a way of thinking, whatever you say. Okay, so it's a very important thing to understand that whenever the tense changes, definitely there's no overt agreement between the subject and verb. But whenever the agreement will be in the subject or the agreement will be in present tense, the verb will definitely differ. So the boy studied the whole day, the boys studied the whole day. You say whether be singular or plural, when in past tense it will only take study, right? Now agreement applies only to the third person subject. Third person, who's the first person? Who's the first person? I is the first person. Who is the second person? You is the second person. Who is the third person? uh, Ram is the third person. Shyam is the third person. He, she is the third person. They is the third person, right? So it only applies to a third person subject. There's no distinction between a person, first person singular subject, and a first person plural subject. For example, you see, I study whole day, we study whole day. So in first person there is no distinction between a first person singular subject and second person singular subject. Like there's no difference. I or we first person, you second person, he, she, it the third person, plural verb and singular verb. You see, the singularity and the plurality of the verb always depends on the agreement of the agreement which is applied on the third person subject, right? Next, so let's discuss some of the basic rules of subject, verb and agreement. As we all know, we have already discussed verb chapter. So it will be very easy for you to understand this chapter as well, which is subject, verb, agreement. So here you see each one, either, everyone, everybody, no one, neither, nobody will always take a singular subject, right? And it requires singular verb, of course. So each of these bananas is rotten. So even if, see, even if the subject, each of, okay, will take a subject which is plural. but the verb followed will always be singular, you see, right? So each of these bananas, plural subject, verb singular. Either is wrong, simply either is wrong, like any two out of these two, any one is wrong. This is the meaning of the statement. So singular verb. Now, when two or more subjects are joined by either or, neither nor, the verb will be according to the nearby subject. You see, neither Neha nor Sakshi. So, Sakshi is singular, verb will be singular. Either Neetu or Prem. Prem is singular, verb will be singular. Neither the teacher nor the managers. Managers is plural, so verb will be plural. So, in such cases, only the subject which is near to the verb decides which verb it will be, whether it will be singular or plural. But there is definitely an exception here as well. Now, what is that exception? Let's just discuss it. When I is one of the two subjects connected by either or, neither nor, put it second and follow it with the singular verb am. For example, neither he nor I am going to school. This will be the appropriate statement. Nor I am going to school. So neither he nor I am going to school, right? So we have to use I in the later part so that I can continue with the am going to school. We can use this form of verb in this case. Okay, I'll just give you 30 seconds time so that you also read it and understand it. We'll not rush you through this because it's very important to understand, and it's very important to, you know, and apply these, right? Okay, moving ahead. Now you see, correct answer. What is the another part of it? That there's also an exception. For example, if the noun is uncountable and there is a singular verb, right? In case uncountable nouns are used with words or phrases that makes them countable, then in that case plural verb will be used. For example, a few pieces of car are lying. I am talking about what? I am talking about an uncountable noun, pieces, which cannot be counted, but it is used as a phrase, pieces of car, and car can be counted, but still I'll use what? I'll use a plural verb. 4 packets of milk are spoiled. So I'm not counting milk here, I'm counting packets, which is uncountable, and we will take what? We will take a plural verb there. Okay, now moving ahead. Collective nouns are words that imply more than one person but are considered singular. And take a singular word such as group, team, committee, class, and family. The family has a long history of photographers. The team has prepared the presentation. You see, whenever we use a collective noun, family and team is a collective noun here. It implies that it implies that they are singular. They are working as a, the family is working as a singular entity. Team is working as a singular entity. So whenever the singular, they will behave like a singular entity, we will always use a singular word. But there's also an exception. If they behave differently, right? If they behave differently and they are not behaving as a single entity, but they have differences, in that case the verb will be plural. The jury has taken a decision. The jury are divided over their opinion. So jury are, jury has. You see, there's a difference. The jury has taken a decision means the decision is taken as a single entity. All the decisions of all the judges in that jury, right, is same. The decisions of each member is same, and hence we have taken a singular verb here. But you see, jury are divided. When I say, it means that their decision, they couldn't come to a conclusion, come to a common conclusion. They had differences. They had differences, and hence in that case we will take a verb which is plural. So you have to understand with the help of the by reading the sentence that which way it is behaving, how is it behaving. Okay, now moving ahead. Whenever we combine two or more subjects by and, it becomes a plural subject. For example, the teacher and the student together plan the event. You see, the teacher and the student together plan the event. So, whenever we combine two or more subjects by and, a plural subject, it becomes a plural subject, right? The subject is plural. She and her friend are at the fair. It becomes a plural subject, and hence the verb followed will be plural in number. Plural verb to be followed. Right? Moving on to the next. Okay. In some case, even when we use and as a conjunction, when we seem to be talking about two people or two things, but it is actually two qualities or things done by the same person, right? In that case, how are we going to use it? We are going to use a singular verb. Why? Because this the actor and singer, which means which this is an indication with the help of article the. You see, article the is only used with actor and not with singer. So this is an indication that they are both same person, and hence for a same person we will definitely use a singular verb, because the only one article is used in the sentence. That means it is talking about one person. You see, in this sentence we have used article the with both the subjects, which makes pretty obvious that they both are different entity and they both are different subjects, and hence the verb will be plural. But when the designations are different but the one person is involved, in that case singular verb will be used. Okay, I hope this is clear. Moving ahead. Okay. Now this rule says certain things or proverbs that come together because they are always used as a single entity, we use the singular form. For example, bread and butter is used as a single entity. Slow and steady is said as a single entity. Time and tide is said as a single entity. So these are some exceptions. So in this case, we will treat them as a singular entity, as a single entity, and so they will always take a singular verb. Tide and time and tide, honor and glory, rise and fall, they will always take a singular verb. Okay, so this is one another type. Next, when and is used with two different nouns but they go into the making of one thing, then it is used in singular form. The sentences tells that it is one but different aspect of one. For example, the rice and fish curry is the staple food of Kolkata. It's a single dish which exists. Rice and fish curry adds its content. The teacher as well as students is going to the seminar, so they are going as a single entity, as a team. So that is why we will use singular verb. The phrase or the extra information, the phrase in between or the extra information which is used here will definitely not affect the subject at all, will definitely not affect the subject at all, right? Moving on to the next part. When we join two subjects with phases like along with, when, together with, as well as accompanied by, in these cases the verb agrees with the primary subject. For example, the original document as well as all the subsequent copies she made was lost. So, the basic idea here was that the original document was lost. This part is just some extra information which builds a sentence. These are only used because it is building a sentence. It is building a sentence. So the idea here is to give more information, and hence we are using it in form of phrases. But the idea here is to say, to tell that the original document was lost. Again, the girls are going for a lunch. The girls together with their friends, this is an extra information to build the sentence, are going for lunch. Okay, so this is how it will be used. Now, next, while joining two subjects with the help of words or and nor, the verb will agree with the subject closer to it. For example, the teacher or the students are going for a seminar. So the teacher, while joining two subjects with the help of words or and nor, the subject will agree with the subject closer to it. You see, the teacher is there, students is there. So the verb is agreeing with the subject which is closer to it, which is students. So it makes it plural, simple. Okay. All words ending with s, one not plural subject. For example, diseases and sports like civics, maths, physics, MEMS, measles, bronchitis, tennis, billiards, gymnastics, weight end with s, but are always singular. For example, maths is my favorite subject. So having s in its name doesn't makes it doesn't makes any sense here, which means that it is not at all viable to say that maths is having suffix s, so it is plural. No, it is simply singular. Okay, same way civics and physics and measles and MEMS. Okay, next part. Now the next part says that words like pants, trousers, spectacles, tongs, scissors are always considered to be plural. Why? Because they are always in pair. They are always in pair. So they are made up of two different parts. My pair of trousers are of cotton. So trousers, you are saying it means it is a pair, right? So we will always use a even if you are asking for one, like where are my trousers, even if you are asking for one trousers, but actually it will come in pair, right? So you will always use plural verb in these cases with the examples which is written here: pants, trousers, spectacles, tongs, scissors, socks, shorts, etc. Moving on. Now this rule says that doesn't it is a contraction of does not and should be used with the singular subject. Don't is a contraction of do not and should be only used with a plural subject. However, first and second person pronouns I and use, don't should be used. For example, I, you, they, we will take don't, and he, she, it will take doesn't. Okay, it's a rule here. Now, moving on. So doesn't is a contraction of does not and should not be used with singular subject. Don't is a contraction of do not and should be used with plural subject. You see, there is an exception as well. So I is the first person, you is the second person. Don't should be used. Okay, she doesn't love it, they don't love it. You see, she and they. Similarly, there is an important note that when does and doesn't is used in the third person singular, use of s or es with the subverb is strictly prohibited. We should not be misled by a phrase that comes between the subject and the verb. The verb agrees with the subject, not with a noun or a pronoun in the phrase. For example, one of the cupboard is open. The people who listen to that song are few. So this way the sentence will be framed. So we will not use any s or es. Okay. Now, the another rule says In some special cases, dollars, rupees, it can be singular as well as plural. For example, if I say 20,000 rupees is a good money, rupees are often used in Nepal instead of rupiah. When talking about rupees as an amount of money which is mentioned here, see, amount of money is mentioned here, we will follow a singular verb. And when referring to the rupees themselves, when referring to the rupees itself as a currency, plural subject will be used. As simple as that. Okay. Next, in sentences beginning with there is, there are, the subject follows the verb. For example, there with there or with here. There will will be followed. The subject will be followed by the verb. The verb will come first and the subject will come later. Since there is no subject, the verb agrees with what follows. For example, there are many files. So there are files. You see, there is a file, singular, verb singular, plural, verb plural, right? In this rule, the rule says with the word means when it refers to income will always be plural, or else it will be plural as well as singular. For example, the means you employed is sufficient, all possible means have been taken, my means are enough to take care of my family. So means is referred to income, which will be plural, or else will always be plural, or else it will be plural as well as singular. It can be anything, right? Okay. Easy to understand. Now let's talk about fraction and percentages. Now fraction and percentages depends on what follows them. For example, if I say 60% of India's population is engaged in farming, so population is uncountable and hence follows a singular verb. Similarly, when I say 50% of the villages are engaged in farming, villages is a countable noun and will take a plural verb. So if the subject is uncountable, we will follow a singular verb. If the subject is countable, we will follow a plural verb. Hyphenate all spelled out fractions. All of the cake pie is eaten. Some of the pies are missing. One third of the workers are gone. You see, with percentages and fractions, we will follow this. Okay. Now, the relative pronoun who, whom, which, and that are either singular or plural depending on the words they refer to. For example, the sales manager is a good researcher who spends a great amount of time surfing the web for information. So, first of all, the sales manager is a good researcher. You see, she's the chairman of a big company who writes the novel. So, researcher, then she writes. You see, she writes. So, the relative pronouns either can take singular verb or plural verb. So, here for sales manager we are using is, but here you see for she we are again using a singular subject. Okay. Next, use a singular verb with sums of money or periods of time. $10 is a price to pay. 5 years is the maximum sentence for that offense. $5 is a high price to pay for this article. So $10, 5 years and $5 is is right. This will follow singular subject, singular verb. Now there are certain points which you need to remember whenever you answer any questions related to subject verb agreement, and every question, every sentence will always be a combination of subject verb agreement. So here singular subject takes a singular verb while plural subject takes a plural verb. Simple, easy to remember. The subject can be single word or a group of words, phrase or clause. Am agrees with the subject close to I. If the noun suggests one idea to the mind or refer to the same person or thing, the verb is singular. Time and tide waits for no man. With sums of money or periods of time, singular verb is used always. right? So these were some of the rules, very basic ones, but very important also, right? So now we'll solve some questions through which I'll take you through a series of a lot of questions, and it will help you in actually understanding much better the topic subject verb agreement. Okay, so let's begin. So first of all, we'll divide the session in three parts. One will be easy, and then the medium part, and then the difficult part. So we'll divide it in three parameters. So the easy part is basically the questions will be very easy and answerable, and then we will uh, tone up the level, and then we will solve some questions which are of moderate level. So here the direction says that from question number 1 to 31 in the sentence below, find the part which has an error. So we have to find error in the sentence. Okay, so let's begin with the first sentence. The depletion of coal reserves and rapid decrease in utilization of coal in various activities. So basically the depletion, we are talking about the depletion, have encouraged many nations to conserve energy. So the depletion of number 1, number 2 and number 3. Number 1 and number 2, these two things. The depletion of two things, these are the subjects, right? The depletion of these two things have encouraged, this has encouraged many nations to conserve energy. So have is used, how is it used? Basically take a second, 10 seconds time and just analyze what do you think is the error in the question. Okay, let me tell you, the sentence is appropriate and there is no error in this sentence, and hence the answer is no error. Okay, moving on to the next one. There is without a doubt many reasons, many good reasons to dance. Now you see in this sentence, when I say, when we say, already said that when we will be using there or here, the verb, the subject will be followed by verb, which means verb will come first and subject will come later, right? With there or here, any one of them, we just discussed this, right? So here you see, there, in there or here, verb and the subject is given here. So there is without a doubt many good reasons. So the subject here is basically reasons, and reasons is plural here. So for a plural subject, am I supposed to use is? No, we will use there are, and hence the error is in option number A. Okay, next question. The neighbors told SIT that neither Jennifer nor her mother are capable of telling the truth. No error. You have to tell which part of the sentence has an error. The sentence is divided in four parts. The first part, the second part, third part, and the fourth part says no error. So you have to identify. Now see, with the help of subjects like the neighbors told SIT that neither Jennifer, subject singular, nor her mother, subject singular, nor her mother are capable of telling the truth. The subject, the verb will be followed according to the closer subject. So the closer subject is singular, and hence the verb is singular. So the correct answer is option number C. Next question. The dog with the brown tail run out of the house. So here the dog with the brown tail, which means we are talking about a singular subject dog, and dog is singular. So for dog we will use singular verb, runs out of the house. Hence the error is in option number B. Next question. The development of an electric bike based on expected performance parameters will be able to travel 500 km without charging the battery. No error. आपको बताना है error. You have to tell me what is the actual error. You can see in the whole sentence. Okay. So Question number 5. Where do you see an error? You see, when we say the development of the moment I read the sentence, you must have got to know that where does the error lie. Definitely the error is in option number A. The development of an electric bike, right? An electric bike and not a electric bike. Next question. When the cluster heads left, the branch manager who had been interviewed was glad. Okay, so here you see the when the cluster heads left, the branch manager who had been interviewed was glad. So there is no error I see, and the verbs you have been used very appropriately, and so the error is in option number D, like it's a no error sentence. Now, Buzo, the dog once considered one of the favorites, were taken away. Now, you see, Buzo, the dog is the main subject here, which is singular and will definitely take a singular verb. So, Buzo was taken away. This is the actually meaning which we are trying to pass on through the sentence. So, it will be Buzo was taken away and not Buzo were taken away, because Buzo is one singular uh, living animal. Now, mathematics, in addition to maths and English and science, are a required subject. So, basically, the idea here is to say that mathematics is a required subject. So, for mathematics, we will, because it's a one subject, we will use article, we will use a verb is and not are. So, error is in option number B. Mathematics, in addition to English and science, is a required subject. Okay, next. Neither the coach nor the players are in favor. So, coach is singular, players is plural, and because players is plural, the verb here followed is plural. Okay, in favor of playing match on this rugged pitch, no error. So, there is no error I see. So, correct answer is option number D again. Okay. Next question. Some of the money was stolen from my bag. Okay, we just did, right, with some, either, each. We will follow a singular verb. So, is the verb singular here? Yes, the verb is singular, and hence the question is of no error. There is no error in the sentence. Next question. Any of these men are a suitable candidate for marriage to my daughter. Again, when we say any of these, the number is singular, which agrees with the singular verb is. So, the correct answer would be, the error is in option number, the error will be in option number A, right? Any of these men, any of these men is suitable and not are suitable. It will be is suitable and not are suitable. This will be an appropriate sentence. I hope the sentences which we are answering in form of questions, you are able to understand and reach out to these sentences and see that there is no error in solving, because such kind of questions will be definitely be asked in your exams, right? So, I hope you are able to understand and relate to what examples I am giving, what rules I am repeating, or what kind of questions I am throwing on you, right? Okay. Now, moving ahead to the next question. The next question says, the number of talented students in this batch are quite large. Again, the number of students in this batch is quite large and not are quite large. So, the error is in option number C here. Next, half of the pie is chocolate and half of the slices are already gone. Okay, so this sentence is somewhat correct. Half of the pie is, and slices are. So, I think there is no error in the sentence, and it's an appropriate sentence. Okay, next. Okay, the neighbors were dismayed The sentence says the neighbors were dismayed to learn that neither her son nor her daughter were interested in moving. So, what will be the correct answer to the following question? Where does the error lie? So, here the moment you read the sentence with or the noun at nearest to the verb agrees with the verb, and in this case the noun is daughter. So, the neighbors were dismayed to learn that neither her sons nor her daughters were interested in moving. So, daughter is singular here, so was interested will be the correct answer, and the error is in option number C, right? Next question. I was so thirsty that either of the two mocktails were fine with me. So it will not be either of, again, either of the two mocktails was fine with me. Definitely you will take any one of them, right? That's why you say either of. So it will take a singular verb. Next. According to my teacher, there is many tests of CAT entrance exam are available to me. So basically, the moment you read this CAT entrance exam is available to me, you get to know where does the error lie. We don't have to get into this much, right? We have to come to a point that where we are so much habituated to answering these questions that the moment you read the question, you must understand that what kind of question is it, what error is there, and you are able to figure out the error, pick the error portion, and also know that how can we correct this sentence as well. Okay, that's why I'm correcting these sentences continuously. So either her mother or her friends are replying to my messages. I think this is the correct sentence and no error. Okay. A new textbook focused on recent discoveries in Spain, assigned by our mother, a mentor. So a new textbook assigned by our mentor. This is not making an appropriate sentence. So a single fix is to add was, which is a helping verb, before the main verb, assigned, right? So what will be the correct answer? The correct answer will be, there it is in C, a new textbook focused on recent discoveries in space was assigned by our mentor. Okay. Next question. Just around the corner is a fantastic wine and beer shop and a small supermarket. So these so many things are there, right? So just around the corner are a fantastic wine and beer shop and a small supermarket. So you see the error is in option number B. Next question. Whoever rented these shows has taken them back before midnight. So whoever rented, whoever, either, each, etc. when used will take what? Singular set of verb, and the subject will be plural. So there is no error in the sentence and it is appropriately used, and this is the correct sentence. Okay. Next. After getting tired of practicing, the dancing troupe decided to work out on their astonished mentor. So a sentence beginning with the conclusion and then with the conclusion, it is giving you an idea that how the sentence has been framed, the sentence have been built, and in this sentence I see no errors, hence the answer is option number D again. Okay, the chief minister together with his two personal assistants are going to be indicted for accepting bribes. You see the verb is followed by the subject written after but, and here after but is the verb is followed by the subject written after but, and here the but is chairman. So here you see a chief minister together with his personal assistants makes it a single unit. and hence because it makes it a single unit, because they are going for the same purpose, so we will use a singular form of verb, is going to be indicted. Okay, next question. All department teachers but not the chairman have decided not to teach on Valentine Day. So here the sentence doesn't sound appropriate, and hence the error is in option number B. It says uh, the chairman has decided and not have decided. Next question. It was the principal, not his ideas, that has provoked the pupils to write. No error. So basically sentence has no error. The sentence is appropriately built. Next question. Either the orthopedian in this hospital or the head of the department is going to make a decision. So any one of them will make a decision, which is totally appropriate. Either and subject singular. No error. Next question says, Dhyan Chand together with his teammates present a formidable opponent on the hockey ground. Okay, so basically the idea here is that Dhyan Chand presents a formidable opponent